Welcome to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. I'm your host, Molly Watts. If you want to change your drinking habits and create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, you're in the right place. This podcast explores the strategies I use to overcome a lifetime of family alcohol abuse, more than 30 years of anxiety and worry about my own drinking, and what felt like an unbreakable daily drinking habit. Becoming an alcohol minimalist means removing excess alcohol from your life so it doesn't remove you from life. It means being able to take alcohol or leave it without feeling deprived. It means to live peacefully, being able to enjoy a glass of wine without feeling guilty and without needing to finish the bottle. With science on our side, we'll shatter your past patterns and eliminate your excuses. Changing your relationship with alcohol is possible. I'm here to help you do it. Let's start now. Well, hello and welcome or welcome back to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast with me, your host, Molly Watts, coming to you from, well, by the time you're listening to this on Monday, June 15th, it is going to be sweltering in Oregon. And, I don't care too much about that because I will be here today, but gone to Maui. And in Maui, your Maui forecast is coming to you for June 15th at a very pleasant 80 degrees or so. Could be a little partially cloudy, but I'll get over it because it's supposed to feel warmer than it is. And it's not 97, which is what it's on its way to do, I think, in Portland today. Hey, how are you? Welcome and welcome back to the show. I'm here. My voice is back. I am so thrilled. And I'm back doing another installment of this series that we started last week, which is When Drinking Less Feels Hard. And we're talking about these real life challenges that people shared with me in my Alcohol Minimalist Facebook group and looking at them through the lens of alcohol core beliefs. And before we dive into that, I do want to announce that I am getting ready to do Mostly Dry July. And it's going to be Mostly Dry July, the daily. You asked for it, and I am here for it. I'm doing it again. I did Mostly Dry January, the daily this year, and it was really a fun experience. I think everybody that was in the group really loved it. And so I've decided to do that again. Now in July, it will be Mostly Dry July, the daily. And you can check it out, learn more about it at mollywatts.com/Mostly Dry July. Mostly Dry July. Go check it out. I'd love for you to come along, join us. We get started on July 1st. All right, now let's dive into this week's episode. So I said that we're going back and we are talking about these real life situations. And last week we started with alcohol helps me relieve stress. And we talked about the difference between a short-term state change and actual real relief. We looked at why alcohol may feel calming in the moment, but may also disrupt sleep, increase anxiety the next day, and make tomorrow's stress even harder to manage. Today, we're going to move into two more alcohol core beliefs that are closely connected, especially in social situations. And that was something that came up repeatedly in the Facebook group, was socializing with or without alcohol. And these two core beliefs are, number one, alcohol makes things more fun, and number two, alcohol creates connections. So, and this episode is for the person who says, I do pretty well at home, but then I go out to dinner, or something unexpected comes up, or I have a plan until I'm with friends who are drinking and I was planning on being alcohol free, or weekends and vacations are where everything falls apart. And trust me, I hear you. I'm on vacation right now as we speak. So if that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this. The problem is not simply that you were in a bar or at a restaurant or at a party or even on vacation. Those situations matter, of course, because availability and environment always matter. But the deeper issue is not just social situations make me drink. The deeper issue is my brain believes that alcohol is part of the fun, part of the belonging, it's part of the connection. And that's what we're going to unpack today. Because when alcohol has been tied to celebrations, to friendships, to confidence, romance, holidays, vacations, letting loose for years, even, for decades, then drinking less can feel like you're asking yourself to have less fun, to be less relaxed, to feel less connected, and somehow to stand on the outside of the group. And no wonder that feels hard, right? If the belief underneath the urge is alcohol is going to make this better, then choosing not to drink or choosing to drink less can feel like choosing a lesser version of this experience. And that's why this belief can be so powerful. It doesn't always sound like I need alcohol. Sometimes it sounds a lot more innocent. I just want to have fun. I want to feel included. It's vacation. Everyone else is drinking. And underneath those thoughts, there are those core beliefs. One, that alcohol makes things more fun. And two, alcohol creates connections. On the alcohol core beliefs mind map, these beliefs include thoughts like drinking makes celebrations better, a drink helps me loosen up, drinking's just what I do at parties. And those thoughts are important because they show us that the desire is not just about alcohol itself, it's always about what we believe alcohol is giving us. So last week it was giving us relaxation and stress relief. This week we're talking about it's giving us connection and fun. I'm not going to tell you that everyone who feels more socially relaxed after a drink is imagining it, because research has shown that alcohol can increase behaviors associated with positive effect in some social contexts. And one study on alcohol and group formation found that alcohol drinking groups showed more positive facial expressions, reduced negative affect, the affect of your face, and higher self-reported bonding compared with placebo or non-alcoholic drink groups. And the authors concluded that alcohol can facilitate bonding during early group formation. So when someone says, I feel more connected when I'm drinking, we need to be honest that there can be a short-term effect that feels very real. But just like we talked about in last week's episode, a short-term state change is not the same thing as the full truth. Alcohol may create a temporary sense of ease. It does lower inhibition. It makes people laugh more easily, talk more freely. They feel less self-conscious. But that does not automatically mean that alcohol is the source of fun or the source of connection. It may mean that alcohol is actually altering attention, it's altering expectation, inhibition, and reward in a way that makes certain social experiences feel easier at first. And that distinction matters because if we give alcohol full credit for fun and connection, we accidentally teach our brain that without alcohol, those things are less available to us. We start to believe that we need alcohol to access part of ourselves that are actually already ours. Our humor, our warmth, our courage, our playfulness. Alcohol may lower the gate, but that does not mean that alcohol created what was behind the gate. So let's talk about expectations, because that part, just like I said, the part about lowering the gate, the stuff, your humor, your warmth, that part was already you. And because alcohol expectancies are a huge part of this conversation, I want you to hear this. In alcohol research, expectancies are the beliefs people hold about what alcohol will do for them. If you believe that alcohol will make you more relaxed, more confident, more fun, that belief can influence how you feel and behave. Researchers have used placebo designs to study this, where some people believe they consumed alcohol when they did not, and that expectation alone can shape behavior. A review on alcohol expectancy effects explains that the placebo condition in alcohol research is specifically used to measure the behavioral effect of expecting to receive alcohol. And that's important for us alcohol minimalists, because sometimes that thing that changes your behavior is not just the alcohol in your bloodstream, it's the story in your brain. If you walk into a party thinking, once I have a drink, I'll loosen up, then your brain starts treating the drink like permission. Permission to loosen up, permission to laugh, permission to stop monitoring yourself. But what if the alcohol isn't the only thing giving you permission? What if it's actually your belief that is giving you permission? What if drinking is acting like a cue that says, now I can relax, now I can be fun, now I can connect? This is where we have to get curious, because many of us have unintentionally outsourced part of ourselves to alcohol. We've handed alcohol the credit for our confidence. We've handed alcohol the credit for our sense of humor. And the work is not to become some awkward, self-conscious model of ourselves forever. The work is to reclaim those parts of ourselves without needing alcohol to unlock them. Now, that doesn't happen overnight. I don't want to make it sound like you can just say, I'm fun without alcohol, and suddenly every social event feels effortless. And if you've practiced drinking in social situations for years, then your brain has a very well-worn pattern. It knows what to expect when you arrive at a restaurant, when the server asks what everyone wants to drink, when your friends order the bottle of wine, when someone says, come on, we're celebrating. These are all cues, and those cues matter. Your brain is constantly making predictions based on past experience. And if restaurants predict wine, if vacations predict cocktails, if tailgates predict beer, then the urge can appear before you've even consciously decided what you want. That's because your brain is a pattern prediction machine. We've talked about it many times, and it's good at it. And dopamine is also a part of that learning system. It helps the brain pay attention to rewards and cues that predict rewards in terms of dopamine. Alcohol interacts with reward circuitry, including those dopamine systems, which helps explain why the brain can learn to want alcohol in response to familiar social cues. And there's actually been studies on this. Reviews of alcohol's effect on emotion and motivation describe how alcohol can influence both positive effect and reward-related processes, especially in social contexts. And this is why Friday afternoons can create an urge even before anything has happened. It's why walking into a vacation rental can recreate an urge. Did I mention I was in Maui right now? All right. Anyway, it's why sitting down at your favorite restaurant can also create that urge. The cue itself starts the prediction. Alcohol belongs here. And when the belief is that alcohol makes things more fun, the prediction is not just, I want to drink. The prediction is, this will be better if I drink. When the belief is alcohol creates connections, the prediction is, I will feel more included if I drink. This is where challenging the beliefs is got to happen. And not with shame, not with judgment, not with you should never care what people think. It's we got to challenge it with curiosity and with a broader view of what actually creates fun and connection. Because let's be honest, alcohol is often present during fun, but that does not mean that alcohol caused the fun. This is one of the most important places that we tend to confuse correlation with causation. We remember the dinner where everyone laughed and the wine was flowing. We remember the vacation cocktails and, down at sunset on the beach. Did I mention I'm in Maui? Anyway, we remember wedding receptions, tailgaters, holiday parties. And because alcohol was there, the brain says alcohol made that fun. But we need to ask ourselves, what else was there? There were people there. There was music there. There was a break from routine there. There was sunshine there. And the fact that you gave yourself permission to be off duty for a little while was also there. So alcohol may have been part of the environment, but it was not the only ingredient. And if we don't separate those things, alcohol gets credit for the entire experience. So we have to become aware. We need to ask ourselves what else was creating, connection? What else was creating fun? Hey, it's Molly, and I'm here to talk to you about Sunnyside Med. That's right. Sunnyside has a new program that they've been offering that includes medication that can quiet alcohol cravings. It's called naltrexone, and it works by making alcohol less rewarding in your brain. And Sunnyside now offers access to naltrexone 100% online and combined with personalized care. Thousands of people have already joined Sunnyside Med and are cutting their drinking nearly in half. Sunnyside Med doesn't just give you a pill. It is a whole support system to help you reach your goals. I really want you to check it out, so visit sunnyside.co/minimalist to learn more and see if you qualify today. Let's talk about losing awareness while having fun, because one of the Facebook group responses was very specific and so useful. Someone said the hardest part was snapping into awareness when alcohol, fun, and momentum get tied together. And there is research on this, something called alcohol myopia. And the basic idea is that alcohol narrows attention. It makes the most immediate, noticeable cues feel more important, while less immediate or more abstract cues become harder to hold on to. In alcohol myopia theory, alcohol can reduce the ability to attend to competing information, especially the kind of information that might normally help you inhibit behavior or consider long-term consequences. In real life, that means when you're at a party, the immediate cues are loud and obvious. Everyone's laughing, someone is pouring another drink, the music's good, your friend says one more, you're having fun, and the quieter cues are harder to hear. I plan to stop at 2. I have an early morning. I want to trust myself. I said I was going to change this. Alcohol makes the loud cues louder and the quiet cues quieter. And that's why relying on in-the-moment willpower after you've already started drinking can be so difficult. Planning ahead helps, but it's not fail-proof. We all know that. Your brain is not operating with the same attention and inhibition you had before you had the first drink. You know that, right? So if your plan is, I'll just decide later, then your plan may not be a plan at all. Awareness does not magically appear after 3 drinks. I guarantee you that much. It has to be planned before the first one. And that doesn't mean you have to be rigid or joyless. It means that if you know that fun momentum is where you lose track, then you create a plan that protects awareness before alcohol starts narrowing it. This is one of the aspects of the doable drink plan that I always talk about with my clients. It means having a plan ahead of time that you feel very confident, you're 80 to 90% confident that you will stick to. And when people tell me that number, and that number is a higher number, we often have a conversation around this exact thing, alcohol myopia. I don't think I've ever called it alcohol myopia before, but I learned this term while I was researching for this episode. So wanted to share it with you. As we wrap up this week, I want to take us back to the 4S new belief system that I talked about last week, that and apply it to situations like this, these social situations, right? So first we have C. In a social situation, seeing means noticing the thought that is making alcohol feel necessary. It might be, this won't be fun if I don't drink. It might be, everyone will think I'm boring. It might be, this is what we do on vacation. Seeing sounds like, I am having the thought that this will make things more fun. Or it might sound like this, I am having the thought that I need alcohol to feel connected. That one sentence gives you just enough distance to work with the belief instead of it just obeying it automatically. We want to step back and acknowledge that you are having a thought, not just what's coming up is just absolutely true, but you are having a thought. Then we're going to soothe. That's where you normalize the thought. You might say, of course my brain's offering this. I've practiced drinking on vacation for years. You might say, of course this feels awkward right now. I'm trying to do something different. Soothe matters because if you shame yourself for wanting to fit in or for wanting to drink on vacation, you will probably create more discomfort. And, when somebody who's developed an alcohol or a habit around alcohol experiences discomfort, that can strengthen the urge to drink. So we don't want to shame ourselves. We notice things and then we soothe our nervous system enough to stay with our choices. And then we're going to separate. So we've got C, soothe, separate. And this is where you separate the facts from the story. Fact, other people are drinking. Story, I have to drink to belong. Fact, we are at a restaurant. Story, dinner out isn't special without wine. Fact, I feel a little awkward. Story, alcohol's the only way to loosen up. And of course, my personal favorite this week, fact, I'm on vacation. Story, my plan doesn't really matter here. Yes, it does. This separate step is powerful because social situations can make stories feel like facts. I want you to hear me say that again. Social situations can make stories feel like facts, but they are not the same. Other people drinking does not require you to drink. Feeling awkward does not mean you are doing something wrong, and being on vacation does not mean that your goals disappear. The last S is shift. A shift is not a fake thought. It's the next best believable thought that helps you stay connected to yourself. You might shift to, alcohol is one way people create ease, but it's not the only way. Or you might shift to, I can be a little awkward and still belong. Or I don't have to drink more than I want to be fun. So these are all believable thoughts. They do not require you to pretend that social situations are always easy. They simply give your brain another option. And then pair that thought with an action. Order the alcohol drink first. Put your glass down, alternate it with a non-alcoholic beverage. Eat before you drink. Decide your stopping point ahead of time. Step outside for 2 minutes, and be willing to leave if an event turns into a drinking marathon. This is how you build new evidence. You don't build new evidence by staying home forever and avoiding every situation where people drink. Sometimes avoidance has a place, especially early on or in situations that truly feel too challenging. But a long-term peaceful control comes from learning that you can be in your life, with your people, in real situations, and still make choices that align with you. That is really the heart of becoming an alcohol minimalist. So this is the work. Not just saying no, not just counting drinks, not just magically wanting less. The work is understanding what you believe alcohol is promising and learning how to create those things more honestly, more consciously, and more sustainably. If your brain believes that alcohol is part of the fun, the ease, the belonging, and connection, then drinking less will feel hard until you start building new evidence. And you can build that evidence one social experience at a time. One dinner out, one party, one weekend, one vacation. I'm doing it this week. I hope that you will come check us out at www.mollywatts.com and join us for Mostly Dry July. So mollywatts.com/Mostly Dry July. And until next time, my friends, choose peace. I will see you on Thursday. Thanks for listening to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. Take something you learned from this week's episode and put it into action. Changing your drinking habits and creating a peaceful relationship with alcohol is 100% possible. You can stop worrying, stop feeling guilty about overdrinking, and become someone who desires alcohol less. I work with people in 2 different ways, and you can learn about them over at my website. Go to www.mollywatts.com/workwithme or reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email, molly@mollywatts.com. We'll jump on a call and decide what might work best for you. This podcast is really just the beginning of our conversation. Let's keep it going. If there's one thing I know, it's that change is way easier when you stop trying to do it alone.